Their rivalries come to define the Premier League in recent years, and today we're going to look back at how it all started and we will try and work out where it's headed next.
Within these shores, the rivalry of our day. Here comes the Premier League's deluxe, first-class, five-star fixture. It is Sadio Mane! Phil Foden! That is a super finish. Salah, escape Cancelo. Oh, it's brilliant from Mo Salah. And still, Salah! Oh, sensational! Absolutely sensational! De Bruyne! Another gem of a goal in a gem of a game!
What a game. That is the reason why the last years Liverpool and Man City always were there.
I know that the only chance we have is to win an incredible amount of football games because our opponents win incredible amount of football games.
Rip up your list of superlatives. This Manchester City side simply defy description. The message sent out to their title rivals. The champions mean business.
Lookman finishes beautifully. Further ground lost for Jurgen Klopp's men. Liverpool beaten for only the second time this season.
Sometimes you need the other teams to draw points.
Kane! That is extraordinary! Pep's Manchester City beaten in the Premier League. It's a race again.
I'm a big fan admirer from Jurgen, and every time is an incredible challenge for us.
Last few years, we pushed each other on insane levels. So it makes each game a final. We know the only way we can do it is to dig really deep.
And we're joined in the studio today by Dion Dublin, Don Hutchison, and by Sam Lee, the Manchester City correspondent of The Athletic. Sam, thank you very much for joining us. Before we get to, obviously, the big game, they're both playing beforehand. So Liverpool play Watford, the early kickoff, then Manchester City go to Burnley. So your old team probably going to go top. Yeah.
Point will take them top on goal difference. A win for sure. I thought about this, and I thought about a quote that I've seen inside of dressing rooms, Dion, where you have sort of magical quotes in the dressing room. And Alan Pardew had a quote put up at West Ham, and it said, always raise the bar. And I think that's what Man City, I think that's what Liverpool have done, certainly over the last few years. They've raised the bar.
It's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult to know how to keep up with the quality of both sides and both squads and the managers. They're always evolving. They're winning things and then they get better. And that's the problem that the other teams are having at the moment, keeping up with the Joneses.
How would you gauge things at Manchester City, Sam? Because they had such a good lead at one stage. I think we were all in danger of thinking, well, that's done and dusted. Now Liverpool have reeled them back in, and Liverpool are playing better than City. I think we would accept that. They're certainly in better form. How would you gauge things at City at the moment?
It's difficult to know. You know, after this run of fixtures coming up, we might have a better idea. Are they having a bit of a wobble, or is this just a normal run of results? You know, they drew against Palace in the Premier League last time, but played pretty well. But they beat Everton when they didn't play that well, and before that they lost to Spurs. So it's difficult. But like you say, Liverpool are definitely playing the better of the two. I think a lot may be decided by that game between them, but we'll talk about a few games over the next couple of hours, which goes to show that it's not necessarily definitive.
Sam, do you feel a change? You know, when there is a change in and around City, do you feel the change? Like, it's not going well or it is going well?
Yeah, but then you kind of got to think, what's changed? Is it the noise on the outside or is it the noise on the inside? I don't think Pep and the players will be thinking, well, what's going on? But I know definitely a lot of City fans, not so much pessimism, but interesting fans are having a bit of a wobble, certainly, but I'm not sure the players are. Okay. That's what you need to kind of separate in these situations, isn't it?
Could see the way, Sam, that he celebrated the equaliser, what that meant to Pep Guardiola.
Well, that had been building for years. We didn't see it, did we, in the game 2019 when he was doing that twice?
Yes,
because of the handball. Because he, you know, for years he's been thinking we don't get any decisions at Anfield. We talked about the Champions League game. Salah was offside. Like, with VAR, it just wouldn't have stood. That's not me being sour grapes. It just wouldn't have stood with VAR. He thought they should have had a penalty, whether he was right or wrong.
James Milner.
Every game when he's thinking...
James Milner, red card.
So after that, you saw him taking the jacket off. I was, you know, not far along in the press bit, and the fans were giving him a bit back, and Pep was like, really sarcastic, like applauding the fans, kind of giving them a bit, cheering them up. And he would have been thinking, look, 5 years I've been in England, we never get anything here, that kind of thing. So then when De Bruyne scored, How often does Pep celebrate like that?
But there was so much to take in when your memory's like watching the game back and you think the Salah goal, the worldy goal, then the Rodri block at the end. How James Milner wasn't sent.
I forgot about the block. I forgot about the Rodri block.
And the James Milner.
3 yellows for James.
3 or 4 yellows he could have had.
Well, I remember Chris was sitting there going, wasn't he? Chris Foy going, of course it's a second yellow.
But I remember I was actually at the game and I'm thinking to myself, that's the standard.
Yes.
That is the standard. If anybody wants to touch these two sides, that's what you have to do.
Because Chelsea were in the mix at that point, were they? And you're right, you just think, I don't think they've got that.
Correct.
You said they just won at Stamford Bridge the week before, hadn't they? 1-0, easily 1-0.
They dominated. Obviously, that was just from a few months earlier. They lost the Champions League final to Chelsea.
Yes.
But they came back in the summer and went, right, no, OK, we're
But I think even Klopp after the game just said, what a brilliant advertisement. What an amazing game of football to watch.
Absolutely. And great that it was a full Anfield, of course, as it will be this weekend. In a moment, then, we'll focus on the end of season run-in. But first, let's remind ourselves of events from the last few weeks, which has left us with yet another incredibly close title race between these two great sides.
Manchester City have not much margin for error. Their big rivals Liverpool are in town in a couple of days' time. They play at Arsenal, who are very much in form. Here's Cancelo against the post and a gaping goal for Aymeric Laporte, who could have been offside. Where's the goal going to come from? It might come from Jack Grealish here. You're going to say it again about being one of these nights. The twist to the tail at the top of the table. What City produced today wasn't enough in the stakes that matter, the goal stakes. Their lead is advanced by only 1 point tonight.
Still better to be in our position than Liverpool, but it's very tight.
So for Arsenal, a game in hand. For Liverpool, the game in hand. It is the night when the gap at the top can shrink to almost nothing. Thiago beautifully rolled through here for Diogo Jota, who's rifled it in! And Robertson can raid for Liverpool. Firmino with finesse and style. Liverpool 2 to the good, and the gap is all but gone. 1 point. It's just 1 point now that separates Liverpool from the champions at the very summit of the Premier League.
So, this is where we are. Liverpool's 9 results in the league are all wins, their last 9. Look how few goals they've conceded in their 2. Now, what a Klopp actually says, this is built on his defence. I get that. I know you would often say that it is. But that says it all, doesn't it?
It just some goals. I remember listening to someone a couple of weeks ago. Someone said the argument was Liverpool don't score enough goals.
I'm like, what? Goals. Yeah.
I'm like, what?
There's a few there, isn't there?
They must be living on Mars or something. But, you know.
No, there's a few.
So that's Liverpool's last 9 results, all wins. This is where we are. They both play the same number of games now. Liverpool's goal difference is 5 better at the moment. A point behind. Remember, Liverpool, it's why Don said earlier, even if they draw to Watford this weekend, they'll go top before Manchester City play at Burnley. And the remaining fixtures. So I think now you are allowed at home to start jotting that. Well, I think they're going to win.
It's tough, though. Liverpool's tough, isn't it?
It's pretty tough.
Look at it.
Yeah. Let's have,
which one would you rather have?
Let's have. So Liverpool have got City, United, Tottenham. Man City have got... Yeah, I would say that Liverpool's are slightly harder for what it's worth.
Oh, no, it's definitely definitely harder.
For what it's worth.
It's definitely harder.
You throw in Champions League games in the mix, all of a sudden.
And they've got to play each other, remember, the week after the league game in the FA Cup semi-final.
That could be a vital little period where you look for Man City, they've got Brighton at Watford, both at home. Across the page, Man United, Everton.
And that is after the Champions League games, and they play at Wembley.
Yes.
So after that big run, so they've got the first game back, then those 4 games, Champions League, playing each other, Champions League play each other. Yeah, City could maybe...
And then those Brighton-Watford games are after that, then.
But Liverpool have got the 2 big derbies.
It could be, as we keep saying, it could be all on the Liverpool-City game. It could be all on. It's massive.
I genuinely can't see any of them faltering.
We saw it right at the start, didn't we?
You can't see any of them faltering?
I can't. I just can't. There's too much at stake for them to falter.
Points dropped.
I can't see them faltering. I really can't. Either of them. So,
I think you're right, Sam. I know they're 2 of the best teams we've seen. I'm not saying they're the best 2. I'm saying they're 2 of the best we've seen. But even these two are going to drop a point.
It's because we've been around the block quite a few years, and we know how the Premier League works.
Yes.
And we know even when you play Burnley, even when you play Watford, there's a sting in the tail somewhere.
Because we haven't thrown in, quite right, because what we haven't thrown in is those teams trying to stay up. So we haven't thrown in, I know it's highly unlikely, Everton at Anfield, because Everton are fighting for their lives.
It doesn't matter, does it, anymore? When you've got survival on your mind, you can come up with some incredible performances.
Correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't there something a couple of years back when I think Man City went behind, was it Brighton last day of the season?
Yeah,
they went behind and Liverpool went in front.
Yeah.
So at one point it was in Liverpool.
And then City won 4-1.
And then Man City went through the gears and
they equalised pretty quickly.
Yes, but they were a goal behind.
But at one point, I remember Brighton were winning 1-0. That's how it can work.
I think if you're Man City, you're thinking this weekend, if we can win this and we're 4 points clear and we've got those fixtures, we are well in control.
I don't know if you look that far ahead, though. I know as players you probably do.
But and managers they got Atletico Madrid twice.
Yeah.
That's why, I mean, they're going to drop points and Liverpool will drop points because they need to keep making changes. For Burnley away, I think Pep will be thinking, keep some players back for Atletico Madrid and who's going to be playing Liverpool.
Well, he can't think like that, unfortunately.
The good thing about them both, as we've seen in the FA Cup when Liverpool rested 7 players.
That's what I'm about to say.
They've both got brilliant squads.
And that wasn't the case 18 months ago. Liverpool would not have had the City side.
No, but
they do now.
I think the reason why I'm leaning towards Liverpool, and obviously playing for the clubs, there's a little bit of bias there, but with a neutral head on, I'm looking at the momentum, and especially the Arsenal game, where Arsenal matched Liverpool for 45 minutes. And I think it's very hard to say what Liverpool's best 11 might be. You might be able to do the same with Man City. You might think, don't know, or yes, I know the 11. With Liverpool at the moment, he can put an 11 out Jurgen Klopp. And at any given time, he can go, get 2 of them off and get Firmino and Mo Salah on, like they did against Arsenal. So I think in game, I think Liverpool are better suited at the top end of the pitch to go, that's not working. Get Diaz on.
No,
that's not working.
I think that's a fair point.
I just find it hard that one of these managers is going to go, right, listen, it's Burnley, let's just, rest. You can't, because you'll look back and go, why did I do that?
I think you will.
It's not, you think you will, do you?
All the sports science and stuff, they can't play.
I think they got
6 games, strong team. And if you look back in recent years, Pep, when they've ever had big Champions League games, been one team in the Champions League, change it at the weekend for the Premier League, go back to the Champions League team. But then now, if you've got Liverpool in the middle, how do you do it?
We'll see,
you can't rest for Liverpool.
That's the joy. We will see. It's brilliant. It's a privilege to talk about it and to watch it, isn't it? And for you to enjoy it. You've got games this weekend, of course, but already looking forward to that one at the Etihad. Thanks for your company. Bye-bye.